live with the news where you live. 8 News starts now.
New tonight, Virginia's only Supermax prison, Red Onion, back in the spotlight again after decades of mistreatment and abuse allegations. The Department of Corrections confirming to us earlier this month an inmate burned themselves. You're watching 8 News at 5. I'm Deanna Albritton.
I'm Eric Phillips. This comes after our reporting in November when we told you several inmates also burned themselves last year. Actions prison leaders called ludicrous. Tonight, 8 News investigators Allison Williams and Roland Wilson are taking action, diving deeper into these claims. Roland.
That's right, Eric. Deanna, for months, Allison and I have researched why conditions at a state prison funded by your tax dollars continue to raise red flags for state leaders, advocates, and families of incarcerated people.
And we're uncovering what steps are being taken to improve conditions. But first, we begin with the stories of 3 men whose time spent at Red Onion spans across the 27 years since the facility opened.
Conditions at Red Onion are pretty brutal.
3 men who have served time at Red Onion State Prison. Hassan Shabazz from 2001 to 2003.
This is not new, right? Though it may be new to some people, this is not a new issue.
John, who requested anonymity, was there from 2017 until late 2018, once writing to his mom that he went without a shower for 30 days.
The lack of showers and overall dirtiness of the place has caused me quite a few sores on my arms and chest.
And Kevin Rashid Johnson, one of the first 100 men at Red Onion when it opened in 1998, was most recently there again until December. In November, the Virginia Legislative Black Caucus claimed 12 men set themselves on fire in response to, quote, degrading and inhumane conditions like physical and racial abuse, excessive stays in solitary confinement, and officers provoking violent dog attacks. But the Virginia Department of Corrections says between March and October 2024, 6 inmates, not 12, burned themselves using improvised devices to tamper with electrical outlets. And then,
just into our newsroom today, officials say another inmate at Red Onion State Prison burned themselves in January of this year.
In all now 7 cases, the DOC says they did not light themselves on fire. Johnson says he saw one of those inmates.
He said, "You did what?" I said, "I set myself on fire." I was like, "Why? What's going on?" So he explained to me. He was like, "The conditions here, I can't do my time here."
The first 6 inmates did the same to get out of Red Onion, confirmed DOC Director Chadwick Dotson in a December public safety meeting. In September emails 8 News obtained between 2 top Red Onion officials, the men stated the prison should prevent transfers for inmates burning themselves and make them pay for resulting medical care. And Dotson called the claims about Red Onion's conditions, quote, bad faith efforts from advocacy groups who pursue prison abolition. The DOC confirmed all 7 inmates were referred for mental health treatment.
There are no conditions that they're truly protesting other than being up in the mountains and away from their family and friends, and it being harder for them to manipulate staff and harder for them to smuggle in contraband.
But former inmates like John say the conditions are harsh, with little support to navigate release.
The Department of Corrections didn't really give me many resources. I had to rely on the people that I knew.
And at a January rally to close Red Onion,
Shut them down!
Shabazz told us he thinks solitary confinement also creates a barrier to re-entry into society and may have contributed to inmates burning themselves.
I can understand those guys saying I needed medical treatment and they didn't care for me, so I had to burn myself in order to get off of this place or just to escape the conditions of confinement.
Now, I'd like to specify that the DOC likes to say they don't use solitary confinement. They don't have solitary confinement. It is solitary confinement.
Johnson is referring to the state's move in 2023 away from solitary toward restorative housing, mandated by law to include a minimum of 4 hours per day of out-of-cell time. But the American Civil Liberties Union, which sued the DOC in 2017 over its use of solitary confinement and canine intimidation,
the conditions there are incredibly harsh and harmful,
said in December the issues persist.
Just kind of heartbreaking to know that not much has changed.
John and Shabazz have both been released from prison, trying to move on from their time at Red Onion. Was there some sort of positive light in there that...
A release date?
The persistent accumulation of pressure over years, right? It becomes this monster that you don't know how to deal with.
Johnson, who's serving a life sentence, says he's working to ensure those who do leave prison rejoin society without the weight of those monsters.
That's a lot of people had behind survived solitary all those years. I did 18 years straight in Virginia.
You have 1 minute remaining.
I don't know. I didn't have that type of will, I guess. I don't know.
After declining 5 interview requests, on February 7th, the DOC emailed me saying Red Onion is in compliance with the American Correctional Association standards, providing, quote, effective incarceration, supervision, and evidence-based reentry services.
And Allison, the state is now further investigating the DOC, but the agency maintains Red Onion is safe for inmates, recently inviting lawmakers to see for themselves. I spoke with Mike Jones about his 3-hour surprise visit in December. He says inmates came up to him unprompted, sharing their concerns of alleged abuse and mistreatment. Some of Jones's top concerns are excessive force using canines and lack of educational opportunities. His concerns echoed by Delegate Holly Siebold, who spoke with us about her scheduled visit back in the summer. Both support the need to investigate these allegations.
What bothered me the most about Red Onion was the mass amount of solitary that is being used.
This isn't a Democrat issue. This isn't our, our mantle to go and run with and own. No, we all got to get around this table and figure it out.
And this is an investigation that we are continuing to follow closely.